Dzień dobry, assalamu alaikum, ciao, and konnichiwa. Welcome. Ken Hume reporting live from Tokyo. Naga Manchetti's off sick today. She got pinged, so you get me. Not really. It's Ken at 10. How are you? Great day yesterday. 5 gold medals for the UK. Love that. Great Britain gold medalists. Just exciting, isn't it? I hope you've been enjoying it. I've loved actually their studio and thought I'd sit myself in it for today's Ken at 10. So I hope you're doing well today. If you haven't been here before, welcome. Thanks for joining us. This is Ken at 10. We are James Alexander Estate Agents. We're not really in Tokyo. We're actually in southwest London. We're in Norbury, which is between Streatham to the north and Croydon to the south. And we report daily on what's going on in the property market and anything else that's going on, really. How are you today? I hope you're well. Today we have the accountants in, so no pressure. Then we've got the annual audit for the client's account. And what's going on with the housing market? Well, Zoopla reporting is an article that's just about in every major newspaper today, and it's about house prices set new highs as buyers seek more space. And it says that a search for space has pushed up the average price of a house by 7.3% over the past year, reaching a new high of 230,700, according to Zoopla. It's interesting, the average house price, depending on where you look and what measure you're taking, is anywhere between 230,000 and 260,000. House prices have grown the most in Wales at 10.2% and the Northeast at 8.8%. The weakest is London at 5.6%, but of course, even there's a macro market which we'll come on to. For flats, prices have risen the most in Scotland at 5.2%. Notice lower for flats, as it has been throughout the UK, and in the Midlands 3.7%, but in London, the flat prices have fallen by 0.5%. And it says that house prices are being supported in part by a severe shortage of homes for sale, particularly houses, with stock levels down some 25% on the first half of the year from 2020. It also noted that while house prices were surging, the growth in flat prices was lagging 1.4% over the past year, adding it's a reassessment among many homeowners of where they want to live. The price of the average UK house has jumped by 30% since 2007, when a typical house cost just 177,300, and that's reported in just about every newspaper you can name. An interesting one in the Telegraph just shows that it really is a story of two halves, really. And this is about central London, and we've said for some time that whilst the rest of the country has been relishing house price jumps if you're an owner, central London has seen the exact opposite, particularly in flats. And it says that prime inner London rent and house prices have plummeted since the start of the COVID crisis, driven by the dwindling appeal of city life and the lockdown. Average prices per square foot have been hit on the hardest in Knightsbridge, dropping to £1,546 per square foot, that is, on the first half of 2021. That's down 11% on the area's 5-year average. However, the number of flats sold peaked at a 5-year high during the 6-month period as buyers rushed to lock in the stamp duty savings from the stamp duty holiday. Experts warn the bargains will be short-lived and property prices in the area, which has historically been popular among foreign buyers, will rebound when border restrictions are lifted. I think that's right. I think central London's a great place to invest if you're looking for capital growth. If you're looking for yield, it never works. London doesn't work for yield if you're looking at buy-to-let. But, I've got one client, and it depends what you want. It's getting that balance, isn't it? Do you want yield? Do you want that solid, suburb house price growth where you can guarantee that the price is never going to go backwards, but you'll get a better yield? Or do you want to go for central London where the chances are you'll get much bigger house price rises, but no yield at all? Sort of 1-2%, which may or may not cover your costs. Interesting as well, we were talking about the expansion of people looking for homes outside of London, and Devon and Cornwall have been particularly popular, with people moving there for both holiday homes and primary residences. And the South Hams District Council said, and this is the local authority for Devon, have said that they'll ensure that all new build homes in Salcombe can be bought only as a primary residence. And this is in a bid to tackle surging demand for second homes. Around 57% of homes in Salcombe are already classed as second homes. And a council report said the consequence of high value placed on the market housing, which attracts primarily second homeowners, is a lack of supply of properties for younger working people in the local area. The council said it's not anti-second homeowners, but the policy will support the needs of local people. Interesting. Another article that I found in the Express, I find this one's a strange one. Retired homeowners are prepared to sell homes to pay for their care. I'm not sure this is true. In my experience, people don't want to do this, and but it says here in the Express, according to new research from retirement specialist Just Group, pragmatic property owners are realistic about the possibility of needing to use some of the value in the properties in their homes to pay for potential care costs. Examining ONS data, Just Group detailed property wealth is concentrated among the over 65s, with this age group holding 41% or 2.1 trillion of all housing wealth. However, nearly half, 47% of owners aged 45 plus, accept the principle that some property value of a £500,000 home should be used for care if someone has no other assets. Some 44% thought the value of the home should be protected from care costs. Well, the reality is that it's not protected at all, and many are shocked to find themselves in that position where they are literally selling up all of their home apart from £20,000, which you're allowed to keep, in order to cover their care costs. So I think it's something that as people reach that age, in my experience, they're shocked by, because the cost of care is massive. Skipton Post is confident about the market recovery. This is David Cutter, the chief executive of Skipton, the fourth largest building society. This is an article in the Mail. He says the housing market could quieten down post-stamp duty holiday, but not fall off a cliff. He knows the current real challenge in the housing market is a lack of stock. Some of our estate agent branches have literally had a handful of houses to sell, and if an instruction does come up, the houses sell very, very quickly. Commenting on mortgages, Mr. Cutter adds that the mortgage margins have declined probably quicker than we initially expected, which means there's an appetite to compete strongly. And we've seen that coming through, haven't we, with the lowest ever fixed rates for 5-year mortgages. And I'm optimistic that it might help some of the younger people, some of their bits and pieces as well, because it seems to me that they're always paying too much for their loans. It doesn't seem equitable. An article I picked up as well, some good news for landlords in the middle of the cladding scandal. Landlords directly affected by the cladding scandal because they owned units in low and medium-rise blocks have some good news at last. Since the Grenfell Tower tragedy, there's been widespread confusion over the need for the now infamous EWS1 cladding forms, which indicate no systemic risk of fire in these blocks. As a result, thousands of landlords have been able to sell or remortgage their properties. Now, Housing Secretary Robert Jenrick has announced that leaseholders in blocks of flats with cladding will be supported to buy, sell or remortgage their homes. It's all very well them saying they'll be supported, but the real question comes, will the lenders support it? And apparently a group of major high street lenders has committed to reviewing their practices following this. And this is HSBC UK, Barclays, Lloyds and others. Well, we know for a fact that there is one particular building society that won't lend on a particular block here in our local area. And that's very frustrating for the leaseholders because there's no justifiable reason, given that they have an EWS1. So it's not always that way. And another thing, footfall has risen in the West End. Pleased to see this, and obviously since Freedom Day, you would expect it. But they have seen a 14% increase in foot traffic compared with the weekend before. That's from City AM. And finally, cold feet actress gets cold feet. I like this one. The actress Helen Baxendale, star of Cold Feet, is embroiled in a property dispute with 4 Devon sisters, claiming Baxendale and her husband, producer David Williams, stopped replying to correspondence, leaving the sale of a £1.7 million detached Queen Anne property to fall through. And what's interesting about that, it does highlight the fact that by making an offer, people can litigate against you. The idea that it's all subject to contract is true, but you can still be litigated against in court if you make an offer and then withdraw at a later stage. As that illustrates, whether they would win or not, another matter. But obviously what they've seen is a meal ticket in Helen Baxendale's wealth and thought they'd go for it. Be interesting to see how that one develops, and we'll be following the story right here. Apart from that, reasonably quiet day today. The weather here in southwest London is overcast, a little bit grey, but no rain at the moment. A couple of valuations coming up, a few offers to tie up. Still massive shortage of 3-bedroom houses. We've said for a while now that if you are looking for a good buyer, cash buyer quickly, and you own a 3-bedroom home within 15 minutes walk of our station here, Zone 3, Norbury, then we are retained by a cash buyer to acquire properties for them, for their portfolio. So do get in touch if that's you. If you're just thinking about selling and wondering if it's a good time, we love to chat property. It doesn't mean that you have to sell tomorrow. There's no obligation attached to these things. We often see people and have a chat with them 2, 3, 4, 5 times before they come to market. We're always happy to do so. build those new relationships over time, because we are very much about the local community, as many of you will know. It's not just about the next deal for us. It really is about having that kind of link with the community that we're proud of and have had for the last 30 years. And we're always interested in strengthening that, even if it means giving some advice gratis, and helping someone through a situation where perhaps a sale isn't necessary, or perhaps we can point them in the right direction of where the advice they need is. We had one this week where a freeholder was being particularly aggressive with a leaseholder in a property, and we managed to put them in touch with a specialist leasehold solicitor who can help them to defend their case where they've extended into the loft without permission. So, be careful of that one, folks. But apart from that, hope you have a fantastic day. Looking forward to another great day at the Olympics, and we'll be back same time tomorrow, another Ken at 10. Until then, stay safe, look after your family and friends.